96.7 KCAL rocks. It is your Thursday meeting. It's time to do a little sports talk with our guy, Pep. What's going on, Pep?
Yo, Patrick, there's a lot going on this Thursday morning. And, we're going to get to baseball in a second, but I got to mention, last night I was watching the season finale of The Mandalorian, just sitting there minding my own business. And I get this alert on my phone that the Oakland A's are buying land near the Las Vegas Strip to possibly build a stadium and move and follow the Raiders to Las Vegas. So there's so much going on right now in the world of sports. It's unbelievable. So we'll get to more baseball in a second, but we've got to talk NBA playoffs. Patrick, listen, last night the Lakers facing a shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies team with no Ja Morant. And they lost, Patrick, 103-93. So that series now is tied at 1 apiece.
I think if you're the Lakers, you're hoping that this is the clunker game because it was clearly one of those games where everything was not working. Everything looked off. Hopefully, this is just that one game you can get out of your system and the Lakers can pull it back together. But yeah, it didn't look good. They just looked flat. That's the last thing you would expect them to come out flat like that. You can't do that.
Yeah, and even Magic Johnson, who loves Twitter, right? He'll go on there and he'll talk about all kinds of things, including a lot about the Lakers, and said, yeah, they've got no one to blame but themselves, right? They look so good in game one. Memphis is shorthanded. Not just shorthanded, they're missing their star player, and they still couldn't win. So, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. A clunker is a great way to say what happened in that game for the Lakers in game two.
Sometimes it's kind of what happens. You play really well and you get a little too confident. You know what? We're gonna do this and it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
And then when you think that, that's when you get punched in the mouth. And I think that's what happened.
But you know what? You go to Memphis, you win one of those games. So you kind of, they did what they were hoping to do, I would guess, before taking it back to Los Angeles. So you get one on the road. So it kind of feels like a different series right now. And we still don't know what's up with Ja Morant in his hand. So they still might be shorthanded going forward.
Yeah, I almost just wonder if LeBron saw, oh, this isn't going to work out, so maybe they just kind of, shut it down a little bit. If they turn it on this next game, I think we'll know.
Interesting. Yeah, you're right. That could be the case. So that's the Lakers. The Clippers, man, everyone was high on the Clippers after winning that first game in Phoenix. Well, they dropped the second game. So the Lakers and the Clippers both 1-1 in their playoff series as the Suns took the other game, game two. So I feel like that might be a 7-game series. I feel like Clippers and Suns, that could be a battle, all 7.
Great matchup between the Suns. I mean, with Booker kind of going bananas. Yes. I mean,
Yes.
they were down 13 or whatever,
Yeah.
and Booker went crazy. He really went instant offense on them.
Yeah, in the second half, Phoenix looked really good. First 2 quarters, battle, pretty even. I think it was tied at halftime, in fact. And then in the second half, Devin Booker looked great. The Suns looked great. So we'll see. And we knew this. We knew this going in, that Phoenix, at least on paper, had a ton of talent. If they could figure it out, they might be the team to beat in the Western Conference. But they, again, they got to figure it out in a short amount of time because, if you lose 4 games, you're done. Your season's over in this playoff series. So
That's right.
All right, and the other playoff series involving California teams, because this is the first time ever all 4 California teams have made the NBA playoffs. It's Kings and Warriors going head-to-head. My Sacramento Kings up 2-0 on the defending champions Golden State. And Draymond Green suspended for Game 3 after stomping on the chest of my guy Domantas Sabonis.
That's right. We're hearing a lot about the stomp. But I think maybe what's getting overshadowed by the stomp is I think somebody's realizing a little bit that the Kings could beat this Warriors team. They are good enough to do it. Can they do it? I don't know. Everybody's talking about the stomp, but I think that's kind of taking people's attention away from the fact that the Kings might win this series.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings can score a ton of points. If you're just a casual basketball fan and you're like, man, Sacramento sucked for a long time. How could they be good? You're right. How could they be good? Here's the deal. They score a lot of points. In fact, they score more points than anybody in the NBA. They just don't play a lot of defense. So they try to outscore the other team. But, right now, Golden State, the defending NBA champions, they are on the ropes, and Sacramento has a bunch of guys who have no playoff experience. They don't know what they're doing in the playoffs. They're just going out there playing basketball and just trying to score a lot of points and, fight fire with a Golden State team who's known for scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, it'll be wild to see if the Kings move on.
Yeah. Hey, and a shout out to their head coach, Mike Brown, who's a former head coach of the Lakers. And also, remember, Mike Brown was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James. So he's been around for a while. In fact, Patrick, he was the first ever unanimous NBA coach of the year. Think of all the great coaches that the NBA's had. never had a unanimous coach of the year. Mike Brown was the unanimous NBA coach of the year. That came out yesterday.
He is a great coach.
All right, I could go on and on about the Sacramento Kings, but I won't. Let's go to baseball here and talk about the Dodgers, because right now on the mean streets of the National League West, really watered down, man. Like, there's not a lot of good baseball right now in the National League West. In fact, Arizona is the only team that is above 500 on the season so far. The Dodgers are struggling. The Padres are struggling, although the Padres do have help on the way. We've talked about that. They've got some superstars coming back to the lineup. But yesterday in a loss to the New York Mets, the Dodgers were facing Max Scherzer, and Scherzer got ejected for having some sort of a sticky foreign substance, and he claims it was just sweat and rosin. But if you're a Dodger fan, you got to think maybe he was doing a little something a little shady out there on the mound.
Right. I think the big thing is they think he put some bullfrog sunscreen in his hair. And because they figured out, remember, a long time ago, and this got banned, that if you combine the bullfrog with the rosin, it makes a really tacky substance. Mm-hmm. And I think he got busted using that. He really went on the I'm innocent thing after and acted crazy, to where in reality, it looked like they actually really tried to help him inning after inning to say, hey, dude, you can't have this stuff on your finger. And I think finally they threw him out for it because he wouldn't listen. Because he's a nut.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He has a wild side, that's for sure. I heard the post-game press conference with him talking about it. So I'm a Mets fan, so I'm going to probably side on the side of Max for now, because he did swear on his children's lives. So that's pretty dramatic, man. I don't know why you would say something like that other than to change the court of public opinion. But apparently there was MLB officials watching him wash his hands in between innings. I guess he took like rubbing alcohol, was cleaning his hands, and I don't know, but apparently it was enough that they're like, dude, that is not just sweat and rosin. You're out of here, and he got ejected.
Right. And I mean, when he was swearing on his children and, you know what I mean, repeating himself, I mean, I was like, ooh, he's looking like he's guilty. And I'll tell you what, he said he was cleaning his hands with alcohol wipes and all that stuff. Yeah. If you're washing your hands every inning on alcohol wipes and your fingers are still sticky, dude, you're going to get busted for it, man.
Yeah. And the Mets won the game 5-3, so maybe if they would have lost and he didn't have good stuff, maybe it was a non-issue, but it wasn't.
Unless it's like me when I was 5 years old and I was telling my parents, no, everyone else is lying. All these umpires are lying then, Max. It's like, come on, bud.
You're the one guy telling the truth, right? Everyone else is wrong.
Yes.
That never works out. One other quick note on the Padres. We mentioned on Monday that Joe Musgrove, he's an all-star. He's actually the first Padres pitcher to throw a no-hitter in San Diego history. He's going to make his Padres debut on Saturday. We just saw him pitch for the Lake Elsinore Storm against the Inland Empire 66ers. So if you're a Padres fan, again, help is on the way. Joe Musgrove getting his first start of the season coming up on Saturday this weekend. So that's pretty cool for them.
I mean, if you are going to play like crap, now is the time to play like crap in the baseball season. Get it out now and then start building. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a long season, man. You can turn things around, especially and again, the mean streets of the National League West. It's not very mean right now. There's no good baseball right now. So even if you're struggling, even if you're starting off slow, does not mean you're out, because no team looks like they're that good or can run away with this division. So if you're a Padres fan, if you're a Dodgers fan, I wouldn't freak out yet. Don't hit that panic button yet. No way.
No.
And finally, Patrick, NFL draft 1 week from today, and an interesting report coming out that the 49ers are not making phone calls, but they're taking phone calls to possibly trade quarterback Trey Lance. And remember, they did pick up Sam Darnold this offseason. And Sam Darnold, who knows, he might be the starting quarterback. He might be the backup quarterback. But they do have, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, and now Trey Lance. And it looks like some other teams might be willing to give up some valuable players, give up a fortune to get Trey Lance. So maybe that'll happen before the draft. Maybe it'll happen during the draft.
I can kind of see why they're doing this. I think why they're doing this is because Trey Lance is kind of a project, right? He's going to take a little bit of time to develop, and that has been hampered by the injuries and what has happened to him. And then they've seen how well Brock Purdy has played, and then they picked up Sam Darnold. And I think Shanahan's thinking, look, I already have Brock Purdy all the way this far in the passing game. I don't even have Trey Lance that far yet. Yeah. I can do more with Brock. And then if Brock goes down, Sam Darnold is serviceable.
Yes.
And Sam Darnold's in that position where he's itching. to
Yeah.
play better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I actually think this is a great move because we don't even know if Trey Lance is going to be a good quarterback.
Yeah.
We have an idea about Brock Purdy. I think this is smart.
Yeah, as a 49er fan, I think that's the case. I think Brock Purdy is your guy going forward, and Sam Darnold is serviceable, and he probably has a chip on his shoulder because he's trying to prove a lot of people wrong that he does belong in the NFL and he can compete at this level, and he might be the starter for Game 1, depending on Brock Purdy and or Trey Lance's injuries and how they recover. But yeah, you could probably get something pretty good in return for Trey Lance. It's just got to go to a team that might not need him to start day 1. They can just bring him in and develop him and give him time to heal from those injuries. The ankle injury.
It is so cool, though. I cannot wait for the NFL draft. It's one of the best times to have Pep around because we can kind of see the Inland Empire players that get drafted. It's really exciting to have their lives change like that. We've seen it year after year. Right when I moved here right away, I was like, look at the athletes that come out of the IE. And Pep sees them coming, man.
And we got a bunch, Patrick. I think we might have more this year than we've had in years past. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We've got a lot.
Here comes that draft, and we'll keep an eye on it with our guy, Pep. Come Monday, we'll get all caught up. Pep, tell them how to get your stuff.
Get my stuff. It's Inland Sports all over social media, Instagram, Twitter. We got the Inland Sports YouTube channel. That is Inland Sports.
Thanks, Pep.